Hi, I'm Gary, Biker's PhD. Want to do a video on kind of some of the things that you should know. You sent your heads in, you got them ported, whether you send them in here or you send them in somewhere else. You got your heads ported. You're going to put a camshaft in your bike. What are some things that you should know or do? And then I kind of want to go through some videos, I think, to help you. Things to look for when you're putting it together, when you're taking it apart and putting it together. So anyway, so you sent your heads in, got them ported. If you send them into me or send them into us here at Biker's PhD, this is what they're going to look like. They're going to be in a bag. They're going to be ready to go. These are fully ported. Springs, guides, you know, we've poured them out. These actually been milled, added compression releases, the whole 9 yards. These are in a bag. These take them out, ready to go. Nothing else has to be done. Okay, so you got your heads. You got your camshaft you're going to do, your lifters, you got all your parts laid out. What's the first thing you should do? And I think before you ever tear the heads off, you know, a lot of guys like this guy, he bought an extra set of heads and sent them in, and then he'll take his apart when he gets these back. A lot of guys do that. Before you ever take your heads off, something you should do, I think, before I take anybody's heads off, I always do it. I mean, depending upon what I'm going to do to the job, but if it's just going to put some heads on it and a cam in it, two things I always do, and they're very important, both of them in my opinion, is I'll do a compression check on it, see what the compression is, the cylinder pressure is, and make sure that it's even. So you want to know whether the rings, everything's, whether it's built-in compression, if there is an internal problem or not. That'll help tell you. And then the other one, which is even more important in my opinion, is I do a leak down test. Okay, a leak down test is going to tell you whether your cylinders are sealing up, and whether your heads are sealing up. You'll know where the air is coming. It's vital. If you've got a problem, I see this all the time. A guy will bring his bike in. He sent his heads off somewhere, whether I did them or somebody else did them, and whether he took it to a shop or he did it at home. I see this all the time. A guy will bring a bike in. You know, hey man, I just had all this work done, and man, it's running now. It's got a miss, or it's got this problem, or whatnot. And the truth of the matter is, if the guy was honest, it had the problem way before he ever tore it down. He was hoping that when he bought the heads, it was going to fix the problem. So make sure you've got your problems all fixed and your bike is running well before you tear it apart. Just throwing cams and throwing heads 90% of the time doesn't fix the problem. You know, you might have a sensor bad, or you might have something bad that it's going to just make it just makes it harder. Now we've taken and throw a needle in a haystack trying to figure out the problem because you just made all kinds of changes to your motorcycle and now it don't run good. So always know and have a clear baseline before you tear your bike apart. You know, one of the things I just ran into the other day, I had ported a set of heads for a guy. He took them home, was going to do the cam and everything, he was going to do it himself, and then he ran into some time issues and stuff, and he said, you know what, I just want to bring it in and I'm going to have you guys tear it apart and put it all together for me. So, and I did my leak down test, and it was leaking terrible. It had terrible leak down in the cylinder, and that's because the cylinder. Now I don't know if you'll be able to see this on camera or not. Maybe I'll try and post some pictures of it and see. But this cylinder is wearing really bad. The factory doesn't use a torque plate when they bore and hone these out. Okay, so where the bolt goes through and tightens up, the cylinder actually, it distorts it. Okay, so it's round, but it's round like a stop sign round, and you could see this in the cylinder where the piston's rubbed real hard and where it hasn't. It had all kinds of leak down. So now you're going to throw a set of heads. If we'd have put it together, now these aren't his cylinders, but I do have some pictures of his, and this one's bad like that too. This is one that was just a takeoff of a guy, and we did a bigger bore kit on it and stuff like that. And so if we would have did that, put this stuff on his bike, we'd have put the heads on, everything sealed up really good. It's able to flow a whole lot more air, and the cylinders are leaking. You know, your cylinders, this doesn't make horsepower, all right? Misconception, going big and all that, don't make it. It does make more cubic inches, and there is value to more cubic inches, but it doesn't make horsepower, okay? It contains horsepower. So if you can't contain, this makes horsepower. An engine's an air pump. More air in, more air out, more horsepower, okay? So the heads are where all the horsepower is. The head's the combination with the camshaft and everything. This tells them how to open and close and all that stuff. So this has to seal up. You want to contain all this new horsepower that you're going to find, or you might find that it don't run that good. You're not getting the performance that you thought you were going to get out of it because the cylinder isn't the lower end. The cylinders are not containing it. You got an out-around cylinder. Now, that doesn't happen in all cases. Some of them are really good shape. You pull the heads off, you port them, you put them back on, and you got a great running bike. But on some cases, they're like this cylinder here, and they're way out of route. So you're gonna have all kinds of leaking going by your cylinder. So you wanna get a baseline, do your compression check, do your leak down check before you ever take this thing apart, unless you're gonna do the cylinders. And then if you're gonna do the cylinders, make sure you have it done by a reputable shop. Don't just take it to anybody, because there's so many poor people there's so many bad ways you can do this, that a million ways to skin a cat, and not all of them are any good. So, and we'll get into some of those things, in my opinion, on this. Ring technology, your honing and all that has changed over the years, like computer technology, because the emissions. Everybody wants a clean environment and all that stuff, so a lot of things have changed. But this has to be able to contain it before these go on. So anyway, and I'm going to get into a video kind of taking this apart. I don't know if I'll do this bike or not, maybe a different bike, maybe do parts on this. And we're going to go through some of the things of taking it apart, putting it together. I think some things that you should look for and do before you want to hop up your bike. You want to get the biggest bang for your dollar. So anyway, I hope you like this video. If you got some questions, send me some questions. Try and answer them the best I can. Anyway, God bless. Have a great day. Hit that like and subscribe button, please. Thanks. Have a great day.